Hi everyone, my name is Mollie and I work for a company called Accenture. I'm a software engineering degree apprentice and I'm also a Young Apprentice Ambassador, which I might shorten to Yan throughout this presentation. So I'll be speaking today for around 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more because I tend to ramble, about all things apprentice. So hopefully you enjoy this presentation. To be a bit more specific about what I'll be speaking about today, so I'm going to be introducing myself as well as what I did before Accenture and what I'm doing now with Accenture. What Accenture is. So for those of you who haven't heard of Accenture, I'll be explaining a little bit more about that. I'll be explaining Accenture's apprenticeship scheme and what we look for in apprentices, as well as the apprentice life and the apprentice perks, which aren't necessarily specific to Accenture scheme, but all apprenticeships. Okay, so I've kind of set out my little Yan profile here. So as you can see, I've been an apprentice for 3 years now. I've been in my current role within the company for 2 years, and I've been a young apprentice ambassador for 2 years as well. So the first thing, I went to Water Riverside Academy, formerly known as Water Technology College, when I actually attended there. So I did my GCSEs there, just my standard high school, and I also did 1 year of A levels there, which I failed. Well, I say fail, I didn't fail, but I didn't do it nearly as well as I wanted to. And I realised that the subjects that I had taken weren't for me at all, and they weren't what I needed to be studying for my future. So I decided to go to Newcastle. Wait, sorry. So I had lots of part-time jobs around kind of my education, and then I went to Newcastle College, and I did a full-time IT qualification because I hadn't had the chance to do IT at Water, GCSE or A level. So I did a full-time level 3 at Newcastle College as well as my part-time working, which was such a struggle because I was doing full-time work hours around a full-time um education as well. So I didn't want to go to uni, so I needed to explore my other options. So that's when I applied for Accenture and I luckily got the position. It was a very competitive position with it being a degree apprenticeship. So I'm very fortunate to have got this opportunity as well. I am now with Accenture's Young Apprentice Ambassador, which means I get the chance to do videos and events like this. Usually I would be out in person at schools, but given the current times, I'm recording this video for everyone to hopefully enjoy. I don't want to ramble on about this too much because everyone within Accenture has a different role and different responsibilities. For example, different clients have different challenges and different demands. So for the client I work within email security, which is kind of cyber security elements, as well as incident management, and a lot of monitoring and a lot of analysing, which might sound boring, but I really enjoy my job. And I've also included some of the side of desk things I'm involved with. So I'm an ally of mental health, I'm an ally of LGBT, I'm an ally of equality. And I also get involved with different things such as the Apprentice newsletter, which you can see here. What is Accenture? You might think you're speaking about this, but I'm not really sure what Accenture as a company does, so I'm going to try and explain it as best as I can. So Accenture are the world's leading digital and technology solutions company. We employ 500,000 people worldwide, maybe more, and 16,000 of those are based in the UK. So we've got various different technology centres within the UK, one of them being in Newcastle. who Accenture work with. So usually in person I'd do a hands up exercise of how many people have heard of Accenture, and like no hands would go up, and then I'd say who's heard of any of these companies, which probably would be every hand in the room. So these are some of the clients that Accenture work with. It's only a small handful. As you can see, some of these are the largest companies and best well-known companies in the world. And you would maybe get a chance to work with some of these clients when working with Accenture. So for example, the client I work for is on this screen right now. I'm not allowed to say which one, but they're there, and you could have the chance to work for multiple of these companies or only one of these companies if you try and get a more permanent role, or you could do more short-term projects and do, say, like a short-term project for Facebook, a short-term project for HMRC, and move around the clients a lot more, which some people tend to do, but I have more of a permanent role. So I've been with only 2 different clients, and the client I'm with now currently I will probably be with for a lot longer as well. A little bit more information about Accenture. Did you know our systems process half of the world's postal packages? So whenever you would go and post a return or a parcel at Royal Mail, we're involved in the technology behind that. We also help protect more than a quarter of the planet's internet traffic, which is what I'm involved with email security. And our technology is used to send out 1 in every 5 telephone bills, which you might not receive in the bills, but our technology is behind that. So in short, really, you can't go a day without touching something that Accenture's been involved with. And now waiting for the company, I'm a lot more aware of that. Accenture seems to follow me wherever I go. But for being a relatively unknown company, we're involved with a lot of huge things. So where is Accenture? We are locally in Cobalt Business Park, which is close to Silverline, if you know where Silverline Shopping Park is. And then globally, we are based in 56 different countries. We'll have offices in 200 different cities, and we'll have clients in 120 cities. So very worldwide, and you might get the opportunity to travel with some of the clients that you work for, or maybe do some overshore projects, which would be great. Obviously, maybe not at the minute because of COVID, but Accenture do encourage travel where appropriate and where doable. These are the key points of the Accenture apprenticeship. I'm covering one of them, so I'll just read that out. A fantastic opportunity to get ahead with lots of support. You do get a lot of support from the team that you'll be working within, but you'll get support from other apprentices as well. It's a really good apprentice community, and I'll not read the rest of them out, but as you can see, there's a lot of benefits to Accenture STEAM, and a lot of other streams have similar benefits too. The first part of pretty much any recruitment process is a CV submission. So what I would say is try and make your CV stand out, not necessarily like submitted in bright pink, but definitely have something on there that makes you stand out in a big pile of CVs. So for example, when I applied for Accenture, I was a qualified door supervisor, so me being a young girl being a qualified doorman would obviously stand out. Just a little bit background on that. It's because I wanted to work at festivals, and it was one of the requirements to be able to work at festivals. You had to be qualified to search someone, which meant being a qualified door supervisor. Other than that, I include my social media links, as well as like the little logo, so like the little Facebook logo and the little Twitter logo, which is like a little pop of colour, which might be eye-catching, but also because companies tend to do social media screening, so I thought including my links on here shows that I have nothing to hide, that I'm happy to have my social media be browsed. There's nothing inappropriate on there, and I come across professional online. So the second one is a video interview, and this can be quite daunting. Like it is awkward to watch yourself back, but what's the worst that can happen? And I just think you have to do it. You have to get on with it, and you have to come across as best as you can. So just try your best. And for me, I didn't watch myself back because I found it too awkward. But if that is something that you would kind of benefit from doing, definitely do that. And then before Accenture, I actually done some more recruitment processes. They weren't necessarily the perfect position for me, but I thought at least the recruitment process, it's given me experience in interviews, and I can learn from the mistakes I've made with other companies when it comes to doing Accenture's, which was the position I ultimately wanted. So the next one would be the assessment centre. So first impressions count, definitely. Make sure you look presentable. You're going to be working in a professional office, so dress appropriately, like dress for the job almost. And another thing, I tend to like twiddle with my hair when I get nervous, especially if it's down. I would pull on my hair. So I wore my hair up to avoid that, so I didn't come across unprofessional to whoever was interviewing me. And I wore pretty minimal makeup, quite natural, just to come across as professional as I could. So the first activity within the assessment centre is a group activity, and you can't really prepare that much for this. I think the key thing to know is that the observer wants to see how you would work in a team, so try and be as talkative as you can without talking over people or coming across rude. For me, I'm quite a talkative person anyway, and because I had a lot of previous work experience, I think I was one of the most confident in my group activity. So I noticed that other people weren't getting the chance to speak as much, so I was actually inviting them to speak, saying like, "Oh, Sarah, do you agree with that? What are your thoughts on it?" And I think that made me stand out as more of like a leader within the group, and not that I was just trying to stand out and be arrogant, but I was trying to work the best as a team as I could. So that's the key thing to remember there. The next one is a Q&A with current apprentices. Try and have some questions prepared for them, because that's what they're there for, and they do love answering any questions and talking about their experience. The next one is a presentation. So that might sound quite daunting, but it's a 5-minute presentation in front of one member of staff, so it's not as daunting as it sounds, but try not to over prepare for it, because I think there's nothing worse than listening to someone who you think they're definitely just like kind of reeling off from memory. Try and make it quite, not winging it as such, like prepare a little bit, but make sure that you come across very friendly and approachable, because no one wants to work with a robot. You are going to be working with people at the end of the day. They want to see what you're like as a person. So for example, I used Bitmojis in my presentation, just to kind of stand out and make my presentation memorable. It was like a little cartoon me throughout the slides, and I give them printouts of the slides to keep for memory as well. And another one is your one-on-one interview, and again I would say don't prepare too much for this, because you'll probably prepare for the wrong questions anyway. You don't know what's going to be asked. Obviously there is a few standard questions in there, but definitely have examples to back you up, and if you think the interviewer has asked a question where you're kind of caught off guard, there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying, "Oh, can I just have a minute to think about that actually, just to make sure I'm giving you my best example." That's completely fine. Like, no one can answer everything on the spot, so if you feel like you need a minute to think about it, definitely just say that. And also definitely prepare a weakness. So that is getting asked more and more nowadays in interviews, like, what's your biggest weakness? And it's not a problem to have a weakness. Everyone has weaknesses, and don't say that you're a perfectionist, because it's just not believable. I think if you're going to struggle with identifying your weaknesses, go and do a personality test, go and do a strengths test that'll outline that for you, and then you can actually say, "Oh, that is a bit of a weakness," and go away and work on that. So when you're then asked about your biggest weakness, you can say, "Well, actually it's X, but I'm doing Y and Z to work on it and improve it," which speaks volumes about you and who you are as a person and your work ethic. And lastly, there's an individual assessment, which I actually didn't have to do when I joined the company, but it has been introduced since. So from what I've heard from other apprentices, you do get a lot of time to prepare for this, and you do normally go into it quite confident with this. So not too much to worry about by the sounds of it. So what employers look for. Um, it's important to remember that when you're going into an apprenticeship, they don't expect you to be able to do the job before you get there. That's why you're going to be an apprentice and learn on the job. So these are some of the qualities that some of the managers look for. So I asked some of the managers that do the interview, and what do you look for? And these were kind of the buzzwords that come up. So if you can have, say, 3 or 4 or 5 of these, then you're on a winner. So definitely get this across in your interview, get this across in every part of your application, and you've got a really good chance. So the perks of being an apprentice, so the top left picture, that's kind of represent everyone that you've met along the way. I've met loads of people within the company, and I know a lot of senior managers, I know a lot of the other apprentices, and all these people that I can work with. And it's great to have a professional network, so definitely try and get as many contacts as you can along the way. You get to work, you get to train, and you get to have skills as well, and you're already on the road to success. That picture at the top middle, you can do an apprenticeship in near enough anything nowadays. I've met an apprentice firefighter. I didn't even realise that was an opportunity that was available, but it was great to see that you can kind of go down any route with an apprenticeship. You're earning, which is that little piggy bank there, and your uni days and student beans, there's like your student discount, which is always a bonus when you're ordering your pretty little thing outfit for Saturday night, or your ASOS trainers or whatever. It is nice to get that 20% off. So my highlight so far, I've got Girls in STEM there, so I was involved with the Girls in STEM event at St James's Park, where a lot of girls came and did different workshops, and I was able to help and assist and host workshops with those girls, which was great. We'll have Domino's and Fat Hippo pretty much all the time at work, and it's normally free. So whenever we're celebrating a big win or a big achievement within the company, we usually get the Fat Hippo van outside, which is always a good day. And on my project specifically, we'll have Pizza Thursdays at the end of every month when we're in office. We're not in office at the minute, obviously, but when we are, we'll have Pizza Thursdays, which everyone looks forward to. I've been able to travel a lot, not with the company, but because of the earning. I've been able to go on a lot of like my bucket list holidays already, which is amazing. I started with a big apprenticeship group, as you can see is that middle image there. The 30 of us started together, and we'll range from ages 16 to 30, which was amazing to see. And also the parties, as you can see on the right there, some of the free bars, you get a little bit worse for wear. And I've also been nominated throughout my apprenticeship for different things, such as Apprentice of the Year. For my first year, I actually got nominated for Apprentice of the Year, but I didn't place. But for the most recent year, I placed third place, which was a great achievement and something I'm very proud of. To finish up, I would normally ask anyone if they had any questions. These are some of the most common ones, but I'm not going to answer them now. But if you did have any questions, please do feel free to contact at an email address that should be available here, the Jan email address, and any questions from me can be forwarded on, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and I hope I didn't ramble too much. Thank you.